Yo, what is up? It's your boy Dark Doom back at it with another video, and today we're gonna be discussing the ending of Sonic Prime, specifically the ending of Sonic Prime Season 3, which we all know, let's be real, is the last series. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not talking as loud as I usually do, it's because it's 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm in my house. I'm currently, having my midnight meal, as you can see. But back to business. So, the ending of Sonic Prime Season 3. And there are 4 main points I want to go over. And point number 1 is, Green Hill is a shatter space? Now, in the beginning of Sonic Prime, in Season 1, when Sonic broke the Paradox Prism, they started using these terms like Shatterverse and Shatter Space, and it was assumed that when the Paradox Prism was fixed and reality went back to normal, these characters and these variations of Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, right? It was assumed that they would disappear, right? Especially when in Season 2, the last episode of Season 2, you hear Nine say to Sonic, when you brought Green Hill back, when you brought your friends back, what do you think would happen to me? Because we all assumed, and I would say rightfully so, we all assumed that they would all not be destroyed, but they would vanish, right? They would cease to exist. However, what we see in the end is, Green Hill is actually a shatter space. Did not see that one coming. I'll tell you that right now. I did not see that one coming. Because it literally, that's why I wrote it down here, like it's a question mark. Because Green Hill is a shatter space. And as you see in the end of Sonic Prime Season 3, Nine basically fixes the prism by draining the energy out of Sonic. And again, this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't watched Season 3, if you haven't watched Sonic Prime, watch it now. We're discussing the ending of the whole show. And so Nine drains the energy out of Sonic. And then a new shatter space appears. A green one. Not the boss cage maze, that's already green. This is a different green. It's a brighter green. It's Green Hill. And so, Green Hill, listen, I might just be talking some absolute garbage here, but I didn't think Green Hill was a shatter space. I thought Green Hill was the world, right? But apparently it's another shatter space that exists with all these others, even though it wasn't there the whole time. But anyway, they go back through the shatter space. Shadow and Sonic go back through the shatter space, and Shadow saves Sonic's life. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But, okay, Green Hill is a shatter space, whatever. Then we get to this, our second point. Does Shadow remember? And funny enough, when they go through the shatter space, when Shadow takes Sonic and saves him, and they go through the shatter space, time basically reverses, right? None of this ever happened now, right? And I'm pretty sure the creator also said, like, that Sonic Prime basically destroyed itself, right? But literally, none of this happened now, and now there are moments before what happened in the first episode when Sonic's about to destroy the Prism. However, he does not destroy the Prism. Instead, he attacks Eggman, okay? Everything's going well, but the Paradox Prism's still there, so the question is, how are they going to get rid of it? And they're all fighting Eggman, they're on the verge of victory. Eggman's getting more and more frustrated, and all of a sudden, Shadow appears. And he does a cool movement with his hand like this, and what's in his hand? Oh, it's the Chaos Emerald, you know, the one that he lost in the Void, the one that fell into the decaying part of the Void in Sonic Prime. We see it in Sonic Prime Season 2, but it happened in Sonic Prime Season 1. But we see his green Chaos Emerald. Okay, fine. That's fine, because, none of this ever happened, so of course he still has the Chaos Emerald. But then we get to the interesting point, okay? Then we get to the interesting point. He takes the Paradox Prism, Shadow teleports to the Paradox Prism, and then what he says is, and Eggman's like, Shadow, what are you doing here? And Shadow says, let me try to do a good voice. I am the ultimate life form. I go where I please. That was the worst impression ever, by the way. Don't quote me on that. But basically what happens is Shadow teleports to the Paradox Prism, and then he teleports the Paradox Prism out of the cave, right? Out of the cave. That's a bit weird, okay. And by the way, that's it. We don't see them again for the rest of the show. There's 2 minutes left in the show. We'll get into that in a minute. But that is it for Shadow. He's gone. And so my big question is, does Shadow remember? Does he remember any of this? Because Sonic remembers. I'll tell you that right now. Sonic remembers, like, he speaks about it. But Shadow doesn't say anything other than, I'm the ultimate life form. I go where I please. Or I go where I want. And then he disappears. So does Shadow remember? Very unclear. Very frustrating, right? Because I really enjoyed Sonic Prime overall as a whole. But this last season, man, we're going to get into it in a minute. Okay, so we don't know if Shadow remembers. Then we have the ending. And where does Shadow and the Paradox Prism go? So the way Sonic Prime ends is once Shadow takes the Paradox Prism out, Eggman runs for it, right? Makes a run for it. And Sonic is now treating his friends in the way they deserved in Season 1, right? He's sharing his chili dogs, spending time with them. But all of a sudden, a mysterious shockwave shakes the earth, right? And we can't see who it is. And then Sonic and his friends rush into battle, right? They're rushing into battle real quick. And that's how it ends, right? So again, we don't see Shadow after he takes the Paradox Prism to God knows where, and then what happens is basically that's the end of the show, right? And so where does Shadow and the Paradox Prism go? I genuinely don't know, because again, if Shadow doesn't remember anything, back to my earlier point, that man could just now have the Paradox Prism for himself, right? He can control the whole thing. If he does remember, then obviously he knows to protect it. But if he does, that's why it's so conflicting the ending, right? And also, that whole ending of the show is so weird. Because basically, the shockwave that came out is the same shockwave that happened when Eggman tricked Sonic in the first place into finding the Paradox Prism. So, basically, they're saying this would have happened no matter what. And you also see a shadow floating above Sonic and his friends as they rush into battle. And it doesn't look like the regular Eggman ship. It looks like the Chaos Council mothership. So, again, don't know how this has happened, because in the ending, the Chaos Council is also blasted into puts them into space, into the void, right? And yeah, so we don't know what happens to them. Okay, so that's basically the ending. Shadow takes the Paradox Prism, disappears. Eggman runs for it. Sonic is chilling on the beach and having a picnic with his friends. And then all of a sudden, a shadow comes, shockwave comes, the same shockwave as before the Paradox Prism was broken, and they rush into battle, okay? Now we're going to talk about Sonic Prime as a whole. I enjoyed the series overall, but I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to keep it real with you. Season 3, I felt like was a bit rushed. There were at least 3, if not 4 episodes that took place in the same spot in the Grim. I felt like there could have been maybe 2. I definitely don't think it should have been 1, but 4, if there were 4, I'm pretty sure there are 4. I have the 7 episodes. Yeah, that was a bit weird. I thought season 3 overall was good. I wasn't too, frustrated with the scenes in the Grim. That was a lot of other people's concern. My main thing was, first, there were 2 things. One was, there were only 7 episodes. Every other season had 8 episodes. And I know what everyone's going to say. Oh, well, in season 1, it was 45 minutes or whatever, so it counted as 2 episodes. Yeah, but they said there were going to be 24 episodes. Like, they specifically said 8 episodes per season. And then there were only 7, okay? But that's not the biggest deal. But the ending is just so confusing. It basically none of it ever happened, so none of it even matters, right? And they said it was like the Sega, whatever you want to call it, Data, tomato, Sega. They said it was canon, but none of it ever happened. It happened after Adventure 03 or something, right? And so the whole ending was just confusing, and that was the main frustrating thing for me. I wanted like a solid ending, right? Because I know originally they planned to have all 24 or now 23 episodes in one whole season instead of having them as 3 seasons, but we're not getting a season 2, let's be real. If we do, it's so unnecessary, and the ending was already weird enough. We don't want another bad ending, right? So let's just leave it where it is and take the fact that overall I thought it was a pretty good season, a pretty good show. If you were gonna tell me to rank all 3 seasons individually, I'd give season 1 an 8.1 out of 10. I'd give season 2 a 9.3 out of 10. And season 3, I'm going to be honest with you, most it's getting is a 7.7. Because, again, it was really good. The animation was top tier. 7.8. But, like, no further than that, because the animation was top tier. Battle scenes were top tier. It's just, it was kind of repeat and rinse and repeat over and over. Like, battles in the Grim, they're losing. Battle in the Grim, they're winning. And so, again, I was a bit disappointed with the ending, but as for everything else, overall, I thought it was a great show, great thing. And to finally conclude, where do I think Shadow went? Because that's going to be the title of this video, because you know what's up. You got to get them views up. No, I'm joking. I do love each and every one of you. Appreciate you all. No, but Shadow's my favorite character. Again, he's literally my profile picture. So where did he go with the Paradox Prism? If any of you have any ideas, leave some thoughts in the comments below, because I'd love to hear, because I'm just so intrigued to know where he went. Does he remember the past events of what happened? And what do you think happens now that Sonic Prime is over? Where does Sonic as a franchise as a whole go next? I don't have the answers to that. Comment down below if you think you do. I love to hear your opinion, and I will respond to you in the comments. 100%. No, I'm being serious about that. And with that being said, that'll wrap up the video. I appreciate y'all so much. Now, I got to get back to my meal. It's going to be quite some time before I'm finished with this. It's actually a lot of food. Like, the burger's huge. But, yeah, I appreciate you all. Love y'all so much. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!